The odds are stacked against you. You're more likely now more than ever to come into contact with a contagious Coloradan.
The world's been turned upside down.
Plus, tonight, as holiday lights are turned on, some restaurants are going dark. It's night one in that restrictive red zone.
This year, it's especially hard on us. We're doing the best we can.
Plus, nearly 2 years since our first investigation. Accusations of Medicare, Medicaid fraud, holding patients longer than medically necessary. The doors at Clearview remain locked up.
Treating patients as pawns to make more money than they were entitled to make.
Tonight, new insight into the final straw that forced the state to take action.
This number should worry all of us. 1 in 49 Coloradans right now is contagious. Colorado is in the worst shape that we've seen since this pandemic began. Record hospitalizations, record cases, record positivity rate.
The governor's hopeful that these new restrictions, things like eliminating indoor dining, reducing capacity at gyms, will just discourage people from socializing. He's hoping to see a difference in the numbers in the next 2 weeks.
Governor Polis also met with Dr. Anthony Fauci today, and the two discussed vaccines. And Dr. Fauci told the governor the big driver for the spike in cases is likely innocent personal gatherings where you relax a little, take off your mask, sit closer to friends.
We know it's really hard, but rethink your Thanksgiving plans. Even Dr. Fauci is spending Thanksgiving away from his kids. And here are those numbers today. Another 5,700 cases added in Colorado. We have now surpassed 188,000 total cases. More than 1,700 people are in the hospital, either with confirmed or suspected case of the coronavirus, and that is now the highest number to date as well. The World Health Organization says in the last 4 weeks, there have been more cases globally than the first 6 months of the pandemic.
So here at home at this hour, 15 Colorado counties, many in the metro area, are officially in the red zone on the state's COVID-19 dial. 5 more will be there on Sunday. Larimer County will move to the red zone on Tuesday.
And tonight is the first Friday night without indoor dining. Last call was 2 hours ago.
Denver7's Addie Guajardo is joining us tonight. And Addie, tonight's holiday lighting at Union Station just really looked different this year than years past.
Well, Ann and Shannon, that Christmas tree lighting spirit you feel as soon as that tree is lit was clearly cut short tonight. Out here, it's eerily quiet and hardly anyone out here in the streets. Last year, businesses were booming and buzzing with people. That's definitely not the case this year. Most of the restaurants are closed and most people are at home abiding by that home by 10 order. 3, 2, 1! Christmas cheer came early this year at Union Station. But unlike last year, we know that Christmas will be green and bright. No big stage, limited entertainment, and crowds.
Crowd size last year was times probably 30. It was huge. We had people all along the streets.
A side-by-side look puts things in perspective. Denver entered the red zone at 5 p.m., limiting a series of activities. Restaurants were hit the hardest, scaling back to takeout or outdoor dining, making time of the essence with Denver's home by 10 order.
Since it's getting close to, shutdown time, that we should probably eat first.
Others bundled up for dinner on the patio.
We tried to prepare as best we could with the hats and the gloves, and we're looking for places that have like heaters.
Last year, Jessica says she hit the bars and restaurants with her friends. But with last call at 8 p.m.,
we're gonna call it a night.
The tree lighting means business for restaurants like Stoic and Genuine.
We draw a big crowd for Christmas.
And while there's some business, the bottom line is hurting.
This year, it's especially hard on us, and we're doing the best we can.
A coffee shop nearby sat empty. The manager says last year, a long line wrapped out the door.
The world's been turned upside down.
There's no denial. Times are tough, but some are focused on the glimmer of brighter days.
We decided to go out and make the best of the situation.
Now, a big Christmas tree also graces Union Station, but security in there is tight. I stepped in just to warm up for a little bit, and quickly security came up to me and let me know that only people staying at the hotel and those taking the train can be inside. Things clearly feel different this year around. Reporting live in downtown Denver, Addie Guajardo, Denver7.
All right, Addie, thank you for that. Now, Weld County is among 5 counties that will move into the red zone this weekend. The Weld County Sheriff took to social media saying he will not be enforcing these new red zone restrictions. It is up to the health departments to enforce and take action against businesses that don't comply, but the County Board of Commissioners said they too would not enforce the rules, saying they'll encourage people and businesses to make decisions to protect the community. And then in response to this potential lack of compliance, the governor said, you're either on the side of the virus or the side of Coloradans, adding that the lack of compliance is, quote, shifting the burden of care onto healthcare workers and hospitals working around the clock and onto neighboring counties.
Pfizer made moves today on its vaccine approval process, now filing for emergency use authorization from the FDA in the hopes it can start distributing the vaccine soon after. Just days ago, Pfizer announced its vaccine is 95% effective, and now the drug maker says we could see the vaccine as early as next month if it gets the green light from the FDA. And getting an antibody test just got a bit more convenient. King Soopers and City Market announced today they are offering a rapid antibody test at their pharmacies. The finger prick blood sample costs $25, and you can get results in just 15 minutes. The test is FDA approved and will be available in Colorado stores by the end of the month. Now remember, this is just to determine if you may have had the virus in the past and developed antibodies to fight the virus, not if you are currently positive. King Soopers is asking people who have symptoms not to come to their pharmacies. Again, this is a test for people who are symptom-free.
Tonight, one of the largest mental health hospitals in the state remains closed, and we are getting a better idea of what led the state to take unprecedented action against Clearview Behavioral Health.
When the state shut it down back in September, that came after 20 months of nonstop reporting by Denver7 Investigates. Chief Investigator Tony Kovaleski is back tonight with the inside story.
This is abusive.
The parking lot sits empty.
They were treating patients as pawns to make more money than they were entitled to make.
Inside, stacked and packed boxes sit in the lobby.
The state suspended its license and shut it down.
And one by one, patients were relocated.
This is not just neglecting people, this is abusing patients.
Attorney Jerome Reinen now represents several former Clearview patients and their families.
That facility needs to be closed.
Part of an ever-growing list of more than 6 insiders, former employees, and patients, all sending warnings during the past 2 years. Many sat in front of our cameras, telling their stories to the world.
It should have been closed last year. Nobody should be in there.
It's been a long time, and it finally happened.
She was one of the first insiders to speak out during her time working behind the doors of Clearview. She witnessed the death of Tibor Hatay, a father of 2.
I really feel like it was a wrongful death, and I feel like it was wrong and it could have been prevented.
A questionable death the medical examiner called a cover-up.
Would it be accurate for me to report that Clearview attempted to cover up the details of this death?
Yes, they gave us inaccurate and misleading information.
What message did you send to Clearview with this lawsuit?
Message is that you can't abuse medical professionals to work your scam.
Reinen's client is the now former medical director at Clearview. He's suing the Tennessee corporation that owns the hospital, one of its executives, and a Florida medical group. By all indications, it was the information he shared with state regulators that provided the final push that closed Clearview.
It looks like this doctor's information was the final straw.
I think it was. I think that my perception is that the state was giving Clearview second and third and fourth chances at putting itself together. It's a tough decision, but it becomes a lot easier when the medical director of the facility calls them up and says, guess what's going on here?
And the 13-page lawsuit accused hospital leadership of conspiring to undermine the doctor's authority, interfering with his job duties, and forcing him out of his job. The lawsuit also says out-of-state doctors were paid excessive salaries to admit and hold patients longer than necessary without a proper assessment or consultation with the patient. It says medical records were regularly manipulated. The lawsuit accuses a Clearview senior manager of causing employees to engage in illegal, wrongful, and unethical behavior. And it says staff was using M1 holds on patients so they could be given involuntary injections of medications. Accusations consistent with what we've heard multiple times from several former employees.
Because of the news reports and people coming through, following through, that they're being held accountable. It's unfortunate. They should have done something a long time ago.
They're trying to keep people and get more money out of insurance, and It's just wrong.
And accusations also brought forward by courageous former patients.
You can't treat people the way that they treat people. People are not animals. People are not paychecks.
Pressure that continued for more than 20 months before regulators finally closed Clearview.
Effective today, they are no longer in operation.
Has the state ever done this before?
No, Tony, at least in my 17 years here at CDPHE, we have never closed a behavioral health hospital.
And while the doors to Clearview remain locked, Colorado's Attorney General continues to investigate the death of Tibor Hatay and multiple claims of Medicare and Medicaid fraud.
Help people understand what was the final straw?
It's cumulative for sure. Previously there were sanctions for the sorts of issues you reported on, but it was this final straw of failing to protect patients during the time of COVID that led the state to say, we can't have this anymore, we need to close them down.
It's a decision that resonated all the way to Colorado's governor.
I hope that for all the providers, this is a wake-up call about the seriousness of their responsibility to meet the needs of their patients.
So now, after nearly 2 years of serious accusations, Clearview's owners are facing challenges in the civil courts, challenges from ongoing state investigations, and the mental health hospital's reputation has been forever tarnished.
The state has basically closed the doors. There's nobody at Clearview anymore. Is that closure for you?
Absolutely. Hopefully it can't happen again.
You started an investigation. I filed lawsuits, and enough people have come forward to make the health department finally step in and do something that they should have done 2 years ago. It's a little bit late, but it's the right thing.
Clearview's legal team will have an opportunity to respond to the lawsuit's accusations in court. We also reached out to Clearview's corporate office in Tennessee and its attorneys here in Denver, offering both an opportunity to respond to our reporting. Our calls and our emails have not been returned. I'm Chief Investigative Reporter Tony Kowaleski.
Just a little bit of snow across the state, but there is more in the 7-day.
How much gas have you burned?
I don't even want to talk about it.
14 hours and counting. People and cars still lined up, waiting to get the first In-N-Out burger in Colorado. We saw people lose their patience, we saw a fight, and these hungry Coloradans are in for a long night.
I've actually been here since 1 o'clock.
Get your holiday shopping and shipping done early. The warning from the Postal Service and the important dates you need to know.